Hey, what's up? I'm Marquel Russell, and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Boom, boom, pow. It's time once again, boys and girls, for another exciting episode of ResultsLeader.fm. So glad that you're here. And I have another amazing interview for you today. This guy is a longtime friend. I've watched his path to growth. I'm a fan of this guy, and he's also part of the TPF family. Yes, the Podcast Factory family. He's got a couple shows with us. So today I have arguably one of the best when it comes to revenue growth for coaches and consultants. Marquel Russell is a multi-million-dollar revenue generator, best-selling author, and rapid business growth strategist. This guy has earned the name King of Client Attraction, and we are going to jump into the interview I have for you today. You are listening to ResultsLeader.fm, and if you're here live, you're also watching us. Welcome all to the show. And today I've got arguably one of the best when it comes to revenue growth for coaches and consultants. Mr. Marquel Russell is a multi-million-dollar revenue generator, best-selling author, rapid business growth strategist, and coach who has earned the title King of Client Attraction. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man. I'm excited to be here.
God, I hope I did that intro justice because you're looking good with them glasses today and everything.
Nah, man, I'm glad to be here, man. You're doing amazing work, man. I'm always grateful to catch up with you.
Bro, I just want to tell you, and I tell you this every time we get together for an interview, I am a fan of your work. I have watched your growth over the years, and to see you become the businessman that you are today, I get like little goosebumps watching that journey, man. And so I'm grateful that you're here. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready, man. Let's do this.
All right. I know you're a big reader, so this is going to be an easy one for you. What book or books have you given most as a gift?
Man, that's such a great question. My most gifted book is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. I give it every one of our clients we send them one. That's my most gifted book.
All right. Now, I have not heard that one yet. I mean, I've read the book, but why is that the one that you're giving away to all your clients?
Because we work with heavily entrepreneurs, and Steven Pressfield's premise is artists, right? Like artists overcoming resistance. And most entrepreneurs, they get stuck. The biggest thing that holds them back is resistance. Some people call it perfectionism. Some people call it procrastination, but essentially it's resistance, right? He really breaks it down in a no BS straight talk type of way. And I think when a lot of people, and it's a short read, right? And a lot of people read that one, they're like, okay, he's like making this plain. So that's a huge one that helps a lot of people.
Cool. All right. So War of Art, the resistance. That's right. The resistance gets in all of our way. So let's talk about something else that gets in people's way. Failure. How has an apparent failure set you up for later success?
Man, I'm kind of a weird individual. So I kind of take everything with stride, right? So it's like, I don't necessarily look at things as failures. I just look at things as something that didn't work, right? And some people say, well, that's the same thing. And I'm like, well, it's really about perspective. It's like, if you launch a marketing campaign, if it doesn't perform the way you want it to perform, that doesn't necessarily mean it failed. It just didn't perform the way you wanted it to perform. So now you zoom out and say, okay, why didn't it perform the way I wanted it to perform? Most people, like, I'm going to use ads, for example. Most people would, like, if their ads aren't performing the way they want, they'll kill the whole ad campaign versus zooming out and saying, okay, which part of this marketing campaign isn't working? Where do we optimize and fix it? So I don't necessarily look at it as failures, like, okay, that didn't work. All right, now we just make some adjustments and we learn either way it goes. So regardless if it didn't work the way we wanted to go, we still learn. So we still win because we learned from this experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, failure is feedback. And that's really,
100%.
that's all it is like
Mhm.
doing something right or wrong. Doesn't matter. It's feedback and you're
Mhm.
not tying emotion to that. So let me go one level deeper and get your take on why most people are afraid of failure.
So, and I posted this on social media the other day. Most people are more afraid of others seeing them fail than them actually failing. So they're more afraid of the embarrassment of the thing is not working out. The family members who said, I told you that wasn't going to work out. Or the friends who said, I told you that wasn't going to work out. They're more afraid of like how they're seen in the marketplace. Most people, it's like, I'm scared of doing the video because I'm scared of what people are going to say or what comments am I going to get? Or so they're more afraid of how they're going to look versus removing all that and saying, let me just show up focusing 100% on serving people. I'm going to give you an example. So I used to be terrified of like speaking on stage, like terrified from school all the way up because I was like always wondering like, well, what are they going to say about me? What are they thinking? I'm on stage trying to read their minds. Why are they looking like that? Instead of just showing up to serve, when you show up focused on solely serving, then all the other stuff doesn't matter. Now you can kind of release and just be you.
That's powerful. So I know I've watched you and followed in your footsteps in a lot of places too. I know you're a man of action and a man of investment. So what would you say is the most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
Man, there's so many. I would say so. That's a loaded one, man. Really good question. So I would say probably the first one would be, man. There's so many, man. How do I pick? So all right, cool. So I would say one is when I invested $500 about 9 years ago into this network marketing opportunity. And that network marketing opportunity, I didn't even go on to make millions like I thought I would, but that actually led me into personal growth and self development. It led me into what we do now. And I don't think if I would have like did that, that would have. I'm not sure if I would still got here, but that was like a gateway drug, so to speak, to online marketing, to direct response marketing, to coaching and consulting, to the company that we built now. So I would say that was definitely a huge worthwhile investment.
So how do you take the leap? Because I know it says it in your bio pretty much, and we share this. We were set out to amount to nothing. I mean, that's what people told us. And that's something that we have in common. So with that kind of weight on your back, how do you make the choice to say, all right, I'm not going to go down this path that I see all these people going down? How do you get into, I want to do network marketing, I want to do online marketing? What drives you away from the dark to the light?
Because I've always seen the masses, everything that everybody else does, I've never seen it work. So when I grew up, everybody was saying, go to school, get good grades, graduate, go to college. Everybody who I knew who was saying that were like broke. They were doing bad, right? And then I saw like my cousins who were selling drugs. Everybody was saying, don't sell drugs, don't get into that. But those are the guys who I saw as successful at the time. Where I grew up, all of my friends and people, the ideal job was to get a job working for the city. And if you know what working for the city is, those are the guys who like fix the potholes in the streets. They drive around the big dump trucks and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But I was just like, nah, guys, I want to be rich. But like always like kind of move towards opposite. Even right now with the crypto and all that, I get it. I get crypto is a big deal. And people are probably going to throw eggs at me for even saying this. But I'm always the guy that, so like everybody's like, man, you should be in Bitcoin or you should be in Dogecoin or you should be in this coin. And I'm just like, everybody's too excited about it for me. So I'm just like, I think I'm gonna sit this one out for right now.
You know what? I'm into me coin, baby.
Exactly. 100%.
And I have some friends doing that right now. They're all going crazy for the crypto thing. And I'm like, cool, man. I hope you do good. I'm not feeling that right now. And if I miss out, great. I mean, the good part about what we do is there's always more opportunity. So let's move on. And I want you to think back over the last 5 years. What new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
So one belief is it's easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make a little bit of money in a lot of time. So it's easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make a little bit of money in a lot of time. Because a lot of times we grow up and we're taught that we work an hour, we get paid for that hour. So everything should be time-based. When in reality, that's the worst way to make money is based on time, right? So that's one huge belief. A habit for me is like having a morning. So I would say two, I'll give two. So one is like having a morning success ritual. like waking up in the morning at a specific time and doing a specific morning routine before I jump into work. So that's one. And then also planning my week, planning my month, planning my weeks, and planning my days. Instead of just waking up, Jim Rohn says, never start a day before the day is done, like on paper. Never start a month before the month is done. Never start a week before the week is done on paper. So I actually got my journals right here. So I plan my week, plan my days before. So now I jump up, I already know what I'm doing. And those are the two habits and one of the beliefs for sure. And also one other belief is that the amount of money you make is going to be a direct correlation to the amount of value that you provide for the marketplace. So if you're not making the type of money you want to make, you just aren't providing enough value. So how do you create your, so don't ask like, how can I make more money? Ask like, how can I create more value? How can I solve more problems?
Okay. Now there's two things I want to go deeper on there. And I think this is something that people are always interested in. It's the routine. So what does your morning success routine look like?
So and this is something I nerd out about, man. I even DM'd you before because you mentioned routine. I was like, hey, dude, what's your routine? Because I'm always like, okay, what can I pull? So for me, I get up at 4 a.m. Typically, no matter if I go to sleep a little bit later, I still get up at 4. So I get up at 4 a.m. I pray with my wife. I get into my office, which is like right next door to my room. So it's like a 10-second commute. I get into my office. I journal. I got like this gospel playlist that I listen to now. I started doing it like a month ago. Works out really well. So I got it playing in the background. And I'm journaling. So I have my journal right here. I journal for like 5 or 10 minutes. So I have, I do 3 things I'm grateful for. What would make today great? A daily affirmation. And then my morning reflection. I do a quick morning reflection. That's typically like 5 or 10 minutes. And then from there, I read my morning success document. So it has like my goals on it. It has the vision of who I need to become to accomplish certain goals, my affirmations. So I read through, and I got a digital vision board on there as well. So I read all through that. That typically takes about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Then I do a 10-minute meditation. I have this guided meditation that I use. I do a 10-minute meditation. And then I do my workout. Typically while I'm working out, I'm either listening to an audiobook at like 2 times the speed, or I'm listening to some kind of training or something like that. So I'm getting them both in at the same time. After that, it's typically about 6 a.m. If it's not 6 a.m. yet and I got a little time, I may read something a little bit, just depends on what's going on. But typically about 6 a.m., that's when I wake my kids up, do the morning routine with them. And then they start, because it's still virtual school right now, they start school about 7:30. And then from there, once they're all squared away or whatever, after I do breakfast and all that good stuff, 8:30, I head back upstairs to my office. And 8:55, I have my team huddle with my team. And then we have our daily sales meeting. And then basically at 8:55, that's when like business technically starts.
Nice. I love it. So I wanted to ask about your journal and your planning. So how are you doing? And this is because I'm nerdy like you, as you know. So how are you doing your planning? Are you planning a year in advance, a quarter in advance? What does that look like?
Good question. So basically, so we typically, so let's say, for example, we'll have certain things like marked out on the calendar. So for example, we know we got events on these days. So we know we got, so like 2 events per quarter. So we have those locked in. Our mastermind retreat, we have that locked in. Any events that I already know that we're going to be speaking in, those are going to be locked in. But we don't necessarily plan like the day to day, because my daily activities are typically the same, unless I'm speaking on like a podcast or if I'm speaking at an event or something like that. We also mark out like our travel dates. So we're going to be traveling. So we typically do like a 90 day. I mean, every 90 days we do like a quarterly getaway with the family. We've started this new tradition where now for Christmas, we're going to bring in Christmas in a new country. So like last year we did like Cancun. I think this year we're going to do like Costa Rica or something like that. So we have those things knocked out. But from that point, we knock those out. And then we pretty much plan out, the week. And we just kind of reverse engineer. Because I don't want to I can't really plan out October, November, because I don't really know what's going to change at that point. But for the most part, my day-to-day of what I do is pretty much the same for the most part. Does that answer the question?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We all handle it differently, and that's why I want to hear it. So let's have a little fun. What are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Some bad recommendations I hear is make sure you have multiple streams of income.
Really? That's interesting. Why is that bad?
Because people take that the wrong way. And here's why. That's one bad recommendation. Here's what I mean. Let me preface this. So that a lot of people take that as having multiple businesses. right? If you don't have one business like up and growing and running like a machine, the last thing you want to do is like start another one, right? You know what I'm saying? Because building one is one. Now, if you got a business going and it's running like a machine, it requires very little, if any, of your own personal effort, and it's doing like $1 million or whatever a year without you, and you want to start some other ventures, great. But if you're trying to like build 3 or 4 or 5 different businesses all at one time because they're a great opportunity, you're going to be screwed, and you're 9 times out of 10 lose your shirt.
Fair enough.
So it's not really given with context. Does that make sense?
Oh, fair. Yeah, I'm like, what now? Come on now.
Yeah. No, I think it's a way to do it, right? But a lot of times people are like all over the place, and most people I talk to, and they're like a jack of all trades and a master of none and all that. They're struggling.
Yeah, and so I want to I want to talk on that for just a second. I agree with you. You have to get something up and running and producing. But after you have one up and running and producing, you also know what skills you have, what skills you need, and what you need to bring in to get another one up and running and producing. And so I that was a good setup that you had there. Like, no, terrible advice. Yes, you can do that, but you got to do it right. You got me.
You got to do it right. And also, one business can be multiple streams of income.
That's right.
Right. So for our company, we have our coaching program. We also have like our mastermind. I do VIP days with clients here and there, not often, but it's not really something I promote. We also do events, right? But it's not us going wider. It's just us going deeper into our main thing.
Yeah.
So one business, and of course you can have books, which is still going deeper. So it's like one business can actually be multiple streams of income.
I like that thought process too. It's what are the things that you're doing already and how can you get more out of them? And so that's actually maximizing. And that's something I'm obsessed with. Like right now we're talking, we're recording content. You're a client. I'm bonding with you. We're live on Facebook. So I'm like, how do we get more out of this time? So I love that concept. All right, we're going to get into my favorite part of the show and maybe your favorite too, where we talk about results. But first, are you getting results? Have you been listening a while? Have you learned something? Have you picked up a tip, a piece of information, something that's been helpful to you? Then guess what? You can be helpful to someone else by sharing this show. Use hashtag resultsleader.fm and share the show out there. Be a hero to somebody today. Thank you for that. And let's jump back in. Now, the name of the show is Results Leader, and we got to talk about results. Marquel, why do results matter?
The results are everything. So it's this, I think it's a scripture or a quote or something. It says, you can tell a tree by the fruits it bears. So a lot of people, you know, you can post the 2 Comma Club award online or the X award, or you could post your new car or your new home, and all that stuff is fine, right? However, if your clients aren't able to post those things, like who cares? The only thing you sharing your bank account and all this stuff proves is that you can sell and you're a great marketer. Congratulations, right? But how many other families have been positively impacted as a result? Like one thing we don't really do, and I'm not a fan of, and it's probably because a lot of my background as well, I'm not really into like posting stuff like that online. It's not really my thing. But what we do post a lot of is results, right? So we was recently in Black Enterprise Magazine, not because how much money we've made, but we was in the magazine because we helped our clients make over $100 million in revenue. So a lot of people ask, like, what makes y'all different than anybody else? Well, nobody else has as many success stories as we do, like hands down, because that's what we focus on. That's our North Star, is like success stories. Our Flywood that we built out for the company is built solely on helping people win. If our clients aren't winning, we aren't winning. So success, results, that's results in terms of like business, like who is being impacted. And also, like, a lot of people get stuck on this thing like professionalism. Like, you should dress a certain way to seem professional, or you should show up a certain way. You should talk a certain way to be a professional. And my definition of professionalism is results.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, right. What else is there? Cool, man.
What is there?
So let's think about this now, because you brought it up and it's perfect time to talk about this. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
I would say understanding that being an entrepreneur and being a business owner / CEO is two completely different things. It's two drastically, every entrepreneur isn't a CEO. All right. It's two completely different things because it's two completely different skill sets. Because like as you're starting your business, right? Let's say you're starting your business and it's just you're doing a lot of stuff, you're doing the most of the stuff in the day to day. When you start transitioning into you want to, because you can hustle to six figures, right? Doing everything, don't really know your numbers, you can get to six figures. However, if you want to scale to seven figures or eight figures, you're going to require a team, right? And hiring, leading a team, developing culture, understanding dashboards and all that good stuff. Those are entirely different skill sets that you have to develop to actually be a CEO. Now you got to start, because like an entrepreneur, you're mainly doing like the doing, you're deciding, right? That's what you're doing. You're doing and deciding, you're making all the decisions. As a CEO, you're more like designing and you're more delegating. So the majority of your time is going to be spent like thinking, right? So I read this book called, this is probably my new favorite business book. It's called The Road Less Stupid. And he talks about these thinking time sessions. So if you ask most entrepreneurs, like, do you have time on your calendar blocked off for just thinking? Most of them will look at you absolutely crazy. They'll be like, well, I think when I'm driving. I think when yeah, you think, but like, do you have time where everything is shut off and that's all you're doing is just thinking with a journal and pad and you're just thinking? Most 99.9% of them will tell you absolutely no. And that's what you got to do when you go into the CEO role. Like, and another thing I just want to, Dan Sullivan just drove this home in his newest book, Who Not How. It's like going from, all right, what do I need to do or how do I do this, to shift into like, who do I get to do this? It's just two completely different mindsets, man. So I think that's probably been the biggest one. Total game changer.
Yeah, huge. And it's good that you've gotten to that point. It speaks to the success that you're getting your clients and yourself. I love it, man. So
thank you, man.
Let's turn this inward for a second. And let me ask you this. What area of your business would you like better results?
What area of my business would we like better results? More client success stories. So we actually just hired a consultant who specifically specializes in client success and fulfillment. So we're like, okay, how do we improve? We're doing amazing, but how do we make this even better? So we just hired somebody last month to kind of come on board and help us with that.
Love it, man. Now, what results are you most proud of?
Our client results. Those are the ones, our client results. Those are when I wake up and I look inside of the group and we're seeing these client wins. That's like, most people like have coffee in the morning to kind of get them that jerk. It's like that stuff like that gets me fired up.
Oh man, I dig it. I dig it. So anything you want to say as we're wrapping up?
No, man, I would just say, first off, bro, I'm super grateful for you. You are amazing. You, Rachel, the whole team are absolutely amazing. That's why you have such a solid company, because you do amazing work, man. I think you really set the bar when it comes to service delivery, leading with excellence, and just making things happen. So I'm super grateful for you. Our whole podcast situation the past few years, all I've had to do was like go record the episodes, send them over, and like we don't have to worry about anything else. So super grateful for you all. And I would just say, like, I hope everybody understands, even with everything that's going on, like we literally living right now in the best time in the history of the world. Like never in a million years did other individuals have these opportunities. Like our ancestors still had massive success without social media, without StreamYard, without podcasts. But like, think of all the things that we have. And it's really like a lot of us are spoiled because it's just so amazing and so plentiful. So I would just say, don't let anybody else fool you. We live in the best time in the history of the world to be alive. And contrary to popular belief, people say like money is like limited and money is, it's like there's more money in print right now than there ever has been in the history of the world. All we got to do is decide what problem we're going to solve in exchange for that money. And like whatever you want, you can literally have it.
Man, you're not kidding. They're printing trillions with a T.
Yeah, bro. Like think about it, man. We just, like last year, like they just printed like 3 trillion out of nowhere and just like gave it away. Like
boom.
Like, come on, man. It's like this is the time. Like take advantage of it.
Oh man. So I know people are going to want to find out more about you. So where's the best place for them to go?
I would say the best place, a couple places. So if you're like in the service-based, client-based business and you want to get more clients for your business, so you want to get 50 to 100 leads per day that convert into clients, I would say go to paidadplaybook.com, adplaybook.com, and you can get our whole blueprint, get 50 to 100 leads per day to convert into clients. You can get that for 100% free, and some bonus videos that come along with it to help you implement it. And whatever your favorite social media platform is, we're a lot more active on Instagram now. So whatever your favorite platform is, Marquel Russell, MarQuel Russell, and then shoot me a DM or something. Let me know that you found me here. And I reply to my messages, and I like to connect with people. I'm a human being still.
Love it, man. So I appreciate you taking time out of your very regimented routine to be here with me. And as you know, I'm a fan. I love watching the journey, love watching the growth, and love being near you to see it all happening. So I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will be back in your earbuds next time. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.